Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a very common experience that is inflicted, projected, or created around a relationship with a covert narcissist, malignant narcissist, or a psychopath. And really, that is one of humiliation. Humiliation of others, making people feel embarrassed. Making people feel ashamed, making them feel as if they don't know what is right. They don't have a sense of focus, a sense of security, a sense of inner knowing, a sense of inner trust, and an inner self-belief. That is really the target that they go for when it comes to designing their emotional manipulation tools and techniques to overpower others. So creating the cognitive dissonance, the brainwashing, the gaslighting, where you tend to doubt your own self-worth, your own self-value, your own gift, your own perspective within yourself. And really that is at the core of one's being. And so realize that when you are dealing especially with a psychopath, someone who really wants to disrupt this core self-belief within you, oftentimes it is the humiliation that is really so crippling. And the humiliation can be created in a number of different settings. It can be at the home, it can be private, it can be public. But number one, humiliation is really sort of where one falters and starts to doubt oneself and feel as if there's something intrinsically flawed about them, and that they should furthermore be embarrassed and really kind of, go into hiding. And so as you can see, oftentimes this projection, an individual will internalize and take at face value, and then furthermore actually do that. They will go into hiding. They will go into isolation. They will not want to show their face. They will want to save their face, oftentimes by becoming meek, by becoming weak. And so this weakness is then felt as the experience of pain. And so as you can see, if they can lead to humiliation, it automatically leads to an internal weakness within you. And this is very dangerous to become into this state of weakness, because it can lead to disability, it can lead to unemployment, it can lead to underemployment, it can lead to disease. It can create a emotional body within, which then triggers your DNA to become disordered. It can create the source of bad habits, smoking, drinking, overeating, improper choices with regards to money. Because if you don't have that seat or foundation of belief and security, and being able to, be out in public and not feel ashamed, which then leads to that social anxiety of being negatively evaluated, negatively judged and assessed, and sort of that trigger that, that this could lash out at any moment. In other words, so this memory becomes stored within the body and in the subconscious. So then it is the fear, it is the control by fear, which then triggers this chain reaction where someone then has been humiliated, insulted, slapped in the face, told, how could you, these sort of absolute statements where there is no way out. In other words, you are despicable. These sort of statements where you are not worth looking at, you're not worth listening to, you're not worth giving affection to, you are horrible as dirt. These sort of real textbook sort of humiliation techniques. You don't know how to load the dishwasher. You don't know how to make a cup of coffee. You can't make the bed properly. You can't close a door the right way. It's too hard. It's too soft. It's too tall. It's too short. It's not 3/4. It's 1/2. It becomes a sort of quibble of the minutia. And if you get stuck in the minutia, which means the very fine, you're going to miss the big picture, and you're going to miss the big picture of your life, which your big picture can only be received if you're in a basis of faith and self-belief and self-certainty and self-trust. But you can see the very fabric of this is what is corroded or corrupted when you are surrounded by a covert, narcissist, a malignant narcissist, a psychopath, the individual who will target this very core of one's being, which then proliferates and grows into all areas of your life. It ripples over into your spiritual support. You might not believe in a greater good, a higher good. You might not believe in humanity. You might stop going to church. You might stop believing that God is with you. You might not feel that presence. You might not feel that sort of God is winking serendipity in your life where you go, wow, God really is here. You might not experience that anymore. You might stop asking for God to present themselves. You feel as if you don't deserve that. And so you stop asking those bigger picture questions. You stop receiving, because with humiliation, and people do then shut down. They do put themselves in a corner. They do put themselves in bed for weeks on end. They do glue themselves to the sofa. They begin then to subconsciously carry out these negative commands from the malignant narcissist or psychopath. So you have to become more aware of these negative commands. Become a good listener. Especially when you're sort of, sometimes these people are still in your life, sometimes they are out of your life, but look at the patterns, look at the sort of value proposition that these people are asserting or projecting into your life, or really sort of insinuating in your life. Insinuating mean to create this nonverbal experience of humiliation, and begin to become very well aware of how this might be directing you and your experience, not only with these sometimes core relationship dynamics, but these core relationship dynamics are patterns which then you will play out or act out in other relationships, because it's people tend to replicate this pattern dynamic, or, act it out in other relationships, or interact it out, where you're then, then kind of taking the helm from them, where their highly critical behavior is then internalized. So you are now internally critical of yourself. Do you see how it's almost like a real passing of the baton? And so if they are insinuating, insinuation is an unpleasant hint or suggestion of something bad. So become, do not be susceptible to this insinuation. It is a ploy. It's an emotional manipulation that's meant to kind of undercut you where it hurts, underneath the knees, below the belt, so to speak, in your sort of inner experience. And so really become aware of this, and become aware of the negative humiliation, and how then you might be replicating this internally by an error or subconsciously, and then getting yourself furthermore into more humiliating situations where you then have remorse, regret, shame. So, and then stop that cycle from occurring, because that is really how you then carry the torch, or carry the baton, carrying out subconsciously their negative commands. Become aware of it, and then break that humiliation from occurring, even if it begins just as a feeling. If you can say, oh wow, peace and harmony, I see how I've been feeling that. I'm going to stop that. And then if you can stop that in the privacy of your inner being, your inner life, stop that critical, self-humiliating feeling, and then furthermore your behaviors, and then have this build up over time, and it'll begin to help alleviate some of that feeling of shame, self-doubt, the crippling lack of faith in yourself and life in that bigger picture experience. It's peace and harmony with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.